Spawning in the bottom right hand corner, of Oceanborn, we have our French Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself currently teamlessly, just took down Shin 2-1. It is Trap. Here we go. See, who is Azura? You don't know Azura, papi? Italian Protoss. Azura is an Italian Protoss player. We have featured him quite a number of times here on the channel. More of an up-and-comer. Not necessarily an established name. But we got a lot of love for Azura. Love. Catching up. Creator wins 99 zeros. Gumiho missing? Yep, no show. Okay, so apparently Gumiho also did forfeits? Question mark? Sorry if I missed that. I guess I kind of, my mind glossed over it. Okay, so it looks like Gumiho did go down to triple. There was a walkover. That is another unfortunate no-show as well. Which means when it comes to the Korean Terran players, I think there's only Kure and Bunny, right? Only Kure and Bunny, as Ryung is knocked out, Gumiho didn't show, and Byun is not here. Interesting to take note of, but we're now focusing on our own game, on our own series. It's going to be a double gas opener. We're going for a factory after the racks, so standard setup here, a more aggressive build, more aggressive start from Clem, and Trap does get a full scout. He's fully aware, and he will recall back home, escaping with that probe. Probe will avoid the clutches of that Reaper. We'll get back home safely, getting into our gate expand, or gate cyber expand, getting into our standard opening. So really, it's going to be on Trap to scout and to respond and to react to what Clem brings to the table here. Now, with this 1-1 setup, we're not going for an add-on swap. We're going, I imagine, Reactor to Reaper Hellion. We could even go into Marines, into earlier Widowmine production for a drop. Speaking of, there it is. Widowmines are going to be on the way. First Reaper does end up testing the waters here against that Adept. Has to be careful. Is zoned away, and I believe Clem has not scouted the tech. The tech of choice will be a Stargate opener here at the Natural. Stargate has been thrown down, and the Reaper scout is going to be denied. With this Stargate opener, I mean, it's the Wing Commander himself. It should be a Phoenix opener, but if you remember, in Game 2 versus Shin, Trap popped up with his Oracle Harass. So we could be seeing an Oracle opener instead. That is not unheard of in this matchup. It is a little bit more uncommon, true, but we could try to flex our harassing there, and we could try to snowball out of control with that and get some damage done. We'll see, as behind this, we only went for the one Widowmine. Okay, so only the single Widowmine into a Cyclone. I mean, it makes sense because Clem doesn't know if it's Blink or not. He doesn't know if it's going to be a Stargate or Blink Stalkers. So Clem is playing very safe. With the help of the Cyclone, I mean, we can shoot up and we can shoot down as we do Scouts. Reaper gets in, and we get eyes on, not the Phoenix, on the Oracle. Reaper gets into the main base. We do lose the Reaper, does not get a probe, but we got a full scout. So big moment there for Clem as he moves out with everything he has. We have the Widowmine, we have the Marines, we have the Cyclone, and the armies, they will miss each other. Back at home, what do we have? We have a shield battery, we have 2 units. At the same time, though, Clem also doesn't have much to defend. We are getting in. Oh, that pylon is exposed. We're going for the pylon. We're trying to depower that Cyber Core. Mind Choke goes up. Warp Gate is going to finish. We need 9 more seconds. It looks like it will complete. Oracle pops out. Boys are being pulled. We do not get the Cyclone. We get a lot of damage done. The Oracle goes down. Big pick off. The Oracle will fall. And across the map we defend. Clem shuts down the aggression. Good juggling here with that Cyclone. Marines are picked off. It looks like Trap he will initially hold. But Clem is still rallying across the map, leading out another Marine. Ooh. Widowmine goes down just in time. Up! Can we escape? No, we cannot! That was a worthwhile pick off there by Clem. He got 2 Oracles for the 1 Cyclone. Takes out another Stalker as well. Very nice control here by Clem. Yeah, and with the medevac juggling, it's just a little bit too much. Trap has to back off. Does reinforce. Remember, he has no Blink Stalkers. Oh, and he's being bullied back by this army, and we still have another Cyclone arriving, and we're still rallying everything across the map. And it looks like Clem may just have too much. Yeah, with 2 Cyclones being the backbone of this army, these gateway units, they just cannot really contest against this. Not on their own. The opener of Trap has hurt him more than anything. Ooh, Medevac finally goes down, and now we can clean this up. We get the Cyclones, we get the Vikings. Trap finally holds. I mean, I say that, we do arrive with a couple of extra units, but without that Medevac, we can't juggle. Without micro potential, Clem has to retreat. But he traded well. Traded very well here. Do I have... Oh, we do have it. Bleeding out 3 Cyclones, a Medevac, a Viking, a handful of Marines. Getting a lot of gateway units. Now, what I should emphasize though, even though he traded well against the gateway army, Trap did get away with his third. This third base was not denied. Very important that it got up and running. Likewise, the probe count here was kept for the most part safe and sound. As I say that, here comes another Liberator. Liberation into the natural, Liberator into the main base as well. Ooh, we're getting a lot of probe kills. Earlier I mentioned we didn't get much economic damage done. Now we have. And we're not done yet. We arrive here at the third base. Oh, this is getting a bit out of hand. Getting 6, 7, almost 8 probe kills. And honestly, the Oracle opener was not worth of a trap. I mentioned before that because of the Oracles, we had no Phoenixes to help defend against the drop play, against the Medevac, against the initial push. We had no Blink Stalkers either. The Oracles were focused down. And we get another probe in the main. Brutal losses there. Now really, Clem, he's just waiting for his moment. He's waiting for his upgrades. Stim, Combat Shields +1, it's all on the horizon. It's soon going to finish. And Clem is going to hit a very strong timing. He is up in army supply, and this push may just end. We almost catch a Phoenix. At least Trap is aware of the army. But being aware is one thing. Can he stop it? We will have force fields. Force fields are going to be so important here in the defense. And we could have potentially force fielded the ramp, but we weren't quite there. Clem does move in. Stim is done. We have our upgrades. We do have an overcharge. Can a Trap hold on? Does throw down the stasis trap. Clem rotates around. Oh! Ooh, does get hit with his Widow Mines. Not a bad stasis. Cyclone shutting down the pylon. Clem posturing. And you can see that Clem, all he's doing is he's just posturing and getting a third. I mean, he could have stemmed, he could have dove in. And it looks like he will. He does get the shield battery. Going for the mineralite. Oh, getting a probe. 4 in total before retreating. And again, the fourth base is getting up and running. Sorry, the third base is getting up and running for Clem. Working towards a Ghost Academy, working towards the rest of his production. And Clem doesn't really lose anything here. He lost like a Marine. He lost 3 Marines, 1 Marauder, the Cyclones. Oh, gets the Oracle. It's been well worth it here for Clem. And Trap is up against the wall. He's going for a Zealot run by. Desperately needs to get some damage done here. SCVs are exposed. But we have reinforcements. Yeah, with the help of these Medevacs, with the help of these reinforcements, we should clean this up. My shot's going to be going up. Good kiting. We do get 5 SCVs, and the army is forced back home. Trap buying some time. Getting a 4th base. He finally breaks free. Oh, the Might Shot. No! Oof. Might Shot goes off. Trap is in the midst of stabilizing. He hasn't stabilized yet. He's still a ways off, but we're getting there. Something that would help here is splash damage, whether it's Colossus, Disruptor, Storm. Right now, we're only working with gateway units, which means Clem, he doesn't have to split. He can just stim and win, Pat. And EMP. Again, Clem, he knows how ahead he is. Is pushing forward. EMPs the Zealots. Catches the Phoenix as well. The force fields are they are going to buy some time, but once these force fields run out, what do we do then? Zealot run by runs into reinforcements. Mine shots going off. We do try to force some friendly fire. Cute move there by Trap, but it did cost him his Phoenixes. And we still have a terrifying death ball of an army here. And it was a bit of a desperation move there by Clem. Sorry, by Trap. To force that friendly fire. And Clemmy's up 50 supply. Oof. Trap, I mean, he's got a good concave. EMP's the sentry. I believe we have like one force field left. Once again, we try to force those mine shots. We do get one. That one mine did a lot of damage, more than the main army of Trap. But we do sustain ourselves. The bio army still stands strong. And here come the reinforcements. Trap is moving up another zealot run by, but it's only 3 zealots. Good EMP. Yeah, and from here, Trappy is getting picked apart. He's going for the concave, trying to set up a surround. Once again, forces some friendly fire from those Widow Mines. The army is low, but it's still standing strong. We take down another Archon. Now, the army is becoming a bit overstimmed. But it's fine. It's perfectly fine. We shut down the Chargeless. We shut down the Archon. We're getting on top of the Stalkers. Overcharge runs out. And Clem, this army is not going to be cleaned up. GG gets called as he snowballs out of control, and Clem takes game number 1. GG. Again, a very rough start there for Trap. Winding it back, a lot of this was off of the back of the initial push. If you remember, we were praising Clem for how much damage he dealt early on with his initial Cyclone push. It did snowball out of control. A big reason why it got so much damage done is because of the Oracle Opener. If you remember, Clem, as soon as he scattered the Oracle Opener, that's when he started moving out. He started pushing when he saw that moment, because he knew that Oracles, they don't really do much defensively back at home, especially when you have, of course, that medevac to juggle, to micro. The medevac was safe and sound for so long. Again, a big reason for that is because there's no Blink Stalkers and there's no Phoenixes. Like, there's just a very limited capability there for Trap to actually deal with that medevac, and Clem just squeezed so much value out of that as well. It was insane how much damage he dealt early on, and it was an uphill battle from Trap from that moment forward. It was an uphill battle. And with that, Clem does take it. Now we're getting ready for game number 2. Ooh. And I'm hoping that we can see a little bit more from Trap. Again, game 1 was, I wouldn't say fully decided by the early game, but it did set a pace. It did set a pace there for the game, and a pace that Trap couldn't keep up with the initial aggression. We'll see if Trap can have a bit of a cleaner start this time, if he can actually get into his opener and get into his mid-game on par with his opponent. We'll see. As we're getting into game 2 on side Delta. Let's go. Here we go. See in the chat, 1 Archon, 1 Immortal, and a Dream. Smudge and a Nightmare Poppy is spawning in the top left hand corner of side Delta. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Leading the series 1-0, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing himself. Down in the series, he has to fight back here and now to force that ace match. It is Trap. Let's go. Let us go. As we are going to be settling into our game here. We are going to be settling in. As Trap is moving out with his probe scouts. And should be getting towards his tech of choice. Now, I don't imagine we're going to be seeing another Stargate Oracle opener. We could see Stargate into Phoenix, especially on side Delta. That's definitely viable. Meanwhile, Clem mixing things up as well. Remember, in game 1, it was a double gas opener into a faster factory. Here, it is a single gas opener into a Rax, expand with a CC. On the low ground or on the high ground, regardless, the command center should be on the way for Clem. So a much more economic opener. That makes sense on side Delta, That's why I also mentioned that I would not be surprised if Trap goes for a Stargate Phoenix opener this time. Again, just because the rush distance by ground, just because of how defendable your natural is because of this ramp, it is easier to defend and you can cut some corners and we can get into a good Phoenix count here. But we'll see. We'll see if Trap wants to spice things up with a Blink opener instead. Probe Scout does confirm the command center on location. Probe's going to back off. Again, it was a Marine opener, not a Reaper, so the probe will make it back home, or can still be active, I should say. And we're still waiting here for our tech option from Trap. Do we go Twilight Council or Blink? Do we go Stargate for Phoenix? Do we go Stargate for Oracle instead? And with that 150 gas, it is going to be the Stargate opener. Now again, this is a really good... Oh, we're going for 3cc. This has been a very trendy build. We're being very greedy here. It's going to be a 3cc, I imagine 3 racks out of Clem, as we only have a single gas, so no factory is going to be required. There's the second racks. We should be throwing down the third racks thereafter. This has been a very popular build these past couple of months. We've been seeing Byun do this. We've been seeing Maru do this. We've been seeing this build permeate throughout the scene. Very greedy. And it can hit like a truck as well. What I mean by that is that we're going to be hitting a stim timing. Because we're rushing into 3 Raxes, we're going to be rushing to stim, into combat shields, into +1. There is that third Rax that we did mention. And even though it's been very economic, this will eventually hit a strong stim timing, and we'll see if Trap can punish this. We found in our experience casting this this build that it can be actually quite difficult to punish it, especially if we're opening Stargates, as we're going for an Oracle opener. Okay, we're going for the same. I made the assumption that it was going to be Phoenixes, but no, we have an Oracle instead. This is going to be interesting. So I do actually like this, specifically against the build of Clem. Because there's no stim, because there's no cyclones, this Oracle has potential. This Oracle has potential for damage, and it is important to get some SCV damage here just because of how greedy Clem is being. This won't kill Clem, but there's potential to tie things up. To even up the economy, I should say. As Trap has yet to confirm. Now, Trap does see the abundance of Marines, but for all Trap knows, this could be a 3 racks. Like, this could just be racks expand into a 3 racks. He doesn't know if there's a third CC yet. Could also be a 2-1-1, to be fair, which is not unheard of either in this matchup. Behind this, third base is being taken. We're taking up into a Twilight Council. This should be for Blink, but it can be for Charge. We'll see which. So here come our first 2 Oracles, getting into the main base for the first time. Upgrades are on the way. And we can dive on the Marines! Yeah, they're exposed. No stim, no combat shields. 2 Marines going to be going down. We get 3. 4 Marines in total. We head towards that mineral line, and we do threaten those SCVs. We don't quite get the mule. Oh, not quite. But shaving off Marines was still a good pick off there by Trap. It wasn't economic damage, true, and it's more important that we get SCV kills, but killing Marines is going to weaken the timing that Clem has here with his upgrades. So it is going to soften him up. Meanwhile, we join up with a third Oracle. Behind this, Charge is on the way, not Blink. I do like that, especially against a bio-heavy composition. Pick up another SCV here at the natural. And it's so important that we keep tabs on where the army is, on whether or not Clem does push out across the map. Speaking of, he is. Remember, this time he has Stim. He's hoping to catch an Oracle or to hit that third. We do have a stasis, a shield battery. We have sentries for force fields. As Clem is rallying everything across the map while he expands at that third base. Expansion is spotted. And there's that first stim. The stasis! Ooh, quick reaction out of Clem. He does pull away in time. But we have force fields and we should be able to defend, but can we catch the army itself? As we rotate over towards that third, we pop the overcharge. We keep the Oracles alive. They do not go down. Oh my god. The Oracles for a moment turned into Immortals there. And we shave off how many units? 16 Marines, 2 Marauders, 17 Marines for 1 Adept. A very efficient trade here by Trap. Very nicely done. Now, because of Clem's economy, he can afford some of these losses. Like, he has a boosted economy. He can maintain himself. But that was still a good fight and a good trade for Trap. Has to be careful. Does get the revelation off. Behind this, we have 5 more gates on the way. It's going to be, how many in total? It's going to be 7, 8, 9 in total. Oh my god. We do have Storm on the way. We have our splash damage of choice. And you can see the contrast between game 1 and game 2. Especially with a much cleaner early game here by Trap. He is holding his own. Like, last game was a little more brutal, and Trap was playing from behind from almost the beginning of the game, just because of how much damage Clem did early on. But now, things are much more back and forth. I mean, it goes to show how important the early game can be. Meanwhile, to counteract that storm, we have a Ghost Academy here by Clem. Do have that Ghost Academy. Already being active now with Medivacs. Now we can stim a little bit more freely. That was the downside earlier, is that Clem had to be very careful with how and when he stimmed, because he couldn't sustain himself. But now we have Medivacs. Now he can be a little bit more cavalier with it. The army is spotted. Trap does rotate. Storm is done. As Clem does spot the main army as well. I believe he may have spotted the High Templar. So Clem might be aware of the storm option here for splash damage, which usually goes hand in hand with our initial opener. 4th base on the way. Clem still being active, getting his own 4 CC in between the bases, soon to be landed. 2nd starport. Oh, interesting. Okay, 2nd starport's on the way. We shouldn't be getting into any kind of Viking production or anything like that because there are no Colossus, not yet. But we're getting there with our Robo. Robo's on the way. Zealot run on the right-hand side. There's nothing to deny here as we don't know where Clem is expanding. We can see that Clem is expanding towards Trap, not away. Mine shot. Ooh. Is going to go up. Takes down 1 Zealot. Meanwhile, here comes that Zealot run. We do have a bunker in position, but the whole position micro. We got 6 SCVs. Good damage dealt there with those Zealots. And we even have some Zealots escaping. Getting a couple of extra Marines. The stasis, big stasis on the army. Oh my god. Clemmy takes it to the face. And now Trap, he can collapse on this. We just have to wait for that stasis to run out, and then we're going to be seeing a big storm on this army. Zealot army headed for the 3rd base once again. And Clemmy has to commit. Ooh, good EMP. Does get 2 High Templar. Uh-oh, which means we have no storm, which means Trap is in trouble. Another High Templar goes down. There is no storm. Oh, there is. There's a flanking storm here on the right-hand side. We do graze the army. And another storm as well. But again, we lost 2 High Templar before the fight even started. And Clem, can he break through? It looks like he is. He snipes another High Templar. Do we have a storm? We do. We need it. With that storm, we barely force back the army. But Trap is in trouble. At the same time, Zelarambe does get into the natural. SCVs are falling. Ooh, another storm here. Whew. But that was a rough hold there from Trap. Again, that initial EMP was brutal. As Zelse head towards that 3rd. Get a couple of SCVs. Clem racing back home. And Trap needs time to recover. He does need time here. I believe he hasn't gone into Immortal production. He has the Robo, but no Immortals, no Bane, no Colossus. Clem has momentum. Clem has a lot of momentum right now. And the only thing keeping Trap alive in these fights is his Storm. And do we have any High Templar? We have 3. We have 3 in the Prism. Three in that War Prism. We have to keep an eye on those EMPs. As we see Clem keeping up his army back at home. Meanwhile, he hits the 5th. He's going to force a cancel. Scan reveals the army, and Clem will be able to avoid it. He does back off. Zealot Ramai is, going to run into the main army. We pull back. Clem is now maxed. Trap may catch some of these ghosts, though. He's tempted. Those ghosts are exposed. Clem does re-rally his army. Does consolidate it. Pushing in towards that 5th base once again. Trap, he does miss the rotation. Yeah, Trap out of position. The base is going to be cancelled. He's going to try and save it. High Templar from behind. Up. And we do land a decent storm. Only one storm, another big EMP. We have one storm left. Ooh, and it goes down. The prism goes down. The High Templar as well. There is no other storm, but we are chasing this back. The Archons, they put in some work. And oh, do we have another? We do. Storm does connect. We take down some of the Marauders. Yeah, good engage there by Trap. And that prism going down was brutal, but he does hold. He is getting into immortal production. There's a second robo. There's the Bay. If I want to be a little bit critical, this does feel late. This production setup in the tech does feel a little bit late there. Ninja base has been found. Trap needs a little bit more time to get into those Colossus or Disruptors. Meanwhile, Clem is going to be the first to remax. He's going to be the first to remax here with Liberators. Liberation zones are coming. The freedom, it's here. The freedom is on the way. And the problem here is that these Liberators, they are a form of tech that Trap doesn't really have a good answer to. Getting into whether it's Disruptor or Colossus is not an answer here to the Liberation zones. Not yet. Eastern EMP. Yeah, the Marauders, they push forward. We have Vikings already in the sky to help deal with the Prism. So Trap has to be that much more careful. Trap desperately trying to take a 6th base. Is spotted. Trap is unable to slow down the army. Clem pushing through. And do we have a storm? Oh, we do. Good storm. As Clem does sit in it. We have more storms left. Army pushing forward. It goes sniper down on top of the ghosts. Ghosts are going down. We got one. And again, we do need those storms as well. We come in from behind. Massive storm flank. Oh my god. We get the surround on Clem. Big storms. Oh, and once again, a couple more storms as well. We clean up the army. Do we have enough anti-air for the Liberation Zone? We do. Liberator goes down, and Clemmy gets completely swallowed up. That was a big fight for Trap. And does he have enough to keep on pushing? I mean, it's tempting, definitely. Yeah, we're going. We have to. We have to push. We have Excentum Lance on the way. Immortals, Prism, eventually Colossus. This Trap is pushing through. Ooh, we do get a big EMP. That's a problem. There's no Prism. Without a Warp Prism, it's going to be difficult here to actually ferry these High Templar over and actually get some good storms. The Ghost, they want the High Templar up. Do they get it? They do. Oof, they snipe one. They snipe some of the Zelts as well. Trap bullied back. Clem holds. At the same time, Stalker counterattack, but there's a planetary in position. And Trap, he has missed his window here. Clem has been able to rebuild. So Clem, he rebuilds. We're again committing to Liberator production. Liberator range is on the way. Now, typically, if we were in a back and forth, more even setup, if we were going towards Libs, we would be seeing Skytoss on the horizon, or like just more Blink Stalkers. But Trap, he isn't quite there yet. He does max out, and he can still try to outposition those Liberation Zones, but it's not going to be easy. Trap trying to take bottom left. Clem taking the center base. About to finish up with 3-3, working on +3 armor. Again, it does feel like Trap is like one step behind tech-wise. Like, at the 15-minute mark, now we finally have Colossus, but I don't think Colossus mattered too much anymore. I mean, at least there are no Vikings. The Viking count was reset. But I would like to see, like, some Stargates thrown down and a Fleet Beacon. We do catch the Ghosts! 2 Ghosts go down. Storm from behind once again! Oh my god! Good storms, but we've run out of storms. We run out of High Templar. The army's being forced back. Oh, the Colossus, the backbone of the army, barely holding on. And you can see the Liberators. Okay, we're going to be pulling back. We do not keep pushing forward. I mean, we lost a lot of Ghosts there. And do we blink in? Oh, not quite. Tempted. We get 1 Liberator. Meanwhile, we're going for Blink for the Dark Templar. Let's go. DTs on the way. We can see Trap rotating around. Do we have any High Templar left? We do. We have 4 High Templar here back at home. And Clem is out of position. We push right through the middle, but Clem has potential for a surround. Trap, have we overextended here? It looks like we may have Liberation as they get thrown down on the main army. The Colossus are falling. We do have some storms, but yeah, this was not the fight for Trap. He bleeds out far too much. Losing almost everything. All the Immortals go down. 2 Colossus as well. That was a brutal loss for Trap. Ay. He does keep his High Templar alive, though. Oh, there it is. I was looking for the Liberator. We do deny some mining. Again, we have 4 High Templar in the War Prism. That's 4 storms. And Trap, he's had some beautiful storms this game. Not gonna lie, we've seen a lot of flanking storms. The problem is that every single time the Trap does it, he dives. Like, he dives the Prism in and he does sacrifice his War Prism and all the High Templar. It's like a very aggressive approach, and it does mean that he's vulnerable whenever, or if it doesn't work. If the Prism gets sniped. More Liberators get thrown down. We do catch some of these medevacs though. Not quite. The dual escape. Oh! Prism is EMP'd. The War Prism is that much lower. Let's see Clem positioning to take another base. Trap rotating towards the left-hand side with those storms. Looks like he's planning to come in from behind. Good EMP on the Zealots. Prism up. Oh, as we do manage to get a storm off. A second storm as well. Oh my god, we stand in it. The storms were insane. And good usage there by Trap, but he's being chased down. The Colossus are exposed. 1 Colossus does fall. We're down to 1. 1 Colossus left. Good EMP here on the Stalkers. The High Templar, they do meet up with the main army. Once again, I love that we're keeping the High Templar like a little bit further back. It's risky. And we're going straight for the dive. Oh, the Colossus are left behind. Another EMP. Catches an Immortal. We're going straight for the kill. Straight for the main base. And here we go. Big storm on the main army. Oh my god, another storm on the Liberators. And that was the final storm. The army has been softened up. Trap diving into the main. He barely has anything left though. Is it enough? Maybe just as Colossus does fall. The Immortal as well. We have Zealots and Stalkers in the main base. We're running out of steam. We're running out of units. At the same time, Clem likewise barely has an army. We have reinforcements on the way. We have DTs. They're coming. The Dark Templar are coming and there's nothing left on the ground. No more Marines. No more Ghosts. And Trap, has he done it? It looks like he has. He's camping that production. Does get the medevacs. Gets the Liberators as well. Out positioning Clem. We blink on forward. And there's no saving the main base. Not anymore. GG gets called. And Trap, he does it. He ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Very nicely done here by Trap to be able to outposition Clem, but not just outposition him, which, I mean, was the game-winning move there for Trap to rush right through the middle, to go into the natural, to go into the main base. But throughout the lead-up of this entire game, the MVPs have to be the High Templar, have to be the Storms. We saw so many juicy Storms, and Clem, he took them all to the face. More often than not, we would see Storms connect with the core of the army. We'd sit in it for a while as well. So much damage was dealt by those Storms, by those High Templar. Without them, Trap would have fallen far sooner. It would have been a much shorter game there. That did keep Trap in the game, and won in the game in the end as well. GG. GG, well played. The Storm, Bobby, the Storm. GG, well played. But it was a back and forth. There were some good moments for Clem. There were some rough moments for Trap. Vice versa as well. Did feel like Trap was kind of punching up for a while there, but again, he was able to make it work in the end. A very committed move, a very risky move to go for the kill the way that he did. But I think the writing was on the wall if we had a longer game, right? Like if we played a little bit more passively, or if we played a little bit more towards a longer later game, then Clem would have recovered and Clem would have overtaken Trap. So I think it was important there that Trap did go for the kill when he did. Otherwise, Clem would have outscaled him. Oh, we're getting in there. We are getting into the ace match. Game number 3 on Amphion. Let's go. Let us go. Oh. As we're settling into the ace match and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our French Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid, being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back here, as he is one of the favorites to have a deep run in this tournament? It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, but returning from the military, looking strong here, fighting back and forcing that ace match. Can he keep going? It is Trap. And as we settle into the ace match, a big shout out to Dally in the chat. Gracias, gracias. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 72 months. That's a lot of months. Dally, of course, a fellow CranKy Duckling nowadays, but was one of our first supporters on Twitch as well when we first started casting, when we first started covering events like this. So thank you so much, Dally. Thank you so much. 72 months. It's a long time. It's big support. Gracias, gracias. Much love, much love. Much love to Dally. Good to see you still around as well. I know it's been quite some time, and we're not as active in StarCraft, especially like competing and playing as we once were, but thank you so much, always. Whew. As we're settling into our game. Too long. Not long enough. What do you mean? As Trap is going for a Gate Cyber Expand, standard opener here out of Trap. Meanwhile, Clem on the other side going for a more aggressive build. Okay, so after the greed that we saw on site Delta, we're going for a double gas opener. Double gas opener is going to be leading to a faster factory into a delayed command center. Trap throws in a pylon just to disrupt any kind of add-ons here from Clem, being a nuisance. Does force out a second Reaper. As Clem would have loved to have gone for a reactor there, and the pylon doesn't even finish. We get eyes on the factory, and this does force the Reaper back home. So a very frustrating start here for Clem. Meanwhile, Trap, still being active with that probe, is still out there. There's that CC on the high ground. The pylon does confirm it is within range, so Trap is aware of the natural base timing. Add-on force further back here, reactors on the way, Cyclone as well, and we're moving out with our first 2 Reapers. We are moving out. So far, we do have a wall off here at the Reaper Cliff towards the left-hand side. Rotate over towards the natural. The Adepts are keeping up, and we can chase down one of the Reapers. We can and we will. The Reaper goes down, but the other does slip by, does get into the natural base. Boys are being pulled. One probe goes down. Up. Ooh, we're gonna get a second probe as well. Good pickoffs. Very nice control here out of Clem. Does get 2 probes and gets the hell out of there. But we don't get eyes in the main. And we can see a very interesting tech choice here by Trap. It is not a Stargate. It is not a Twilight Council. It is a Robo Opener instead. Now, with a Robo Opener, it can lead into a couple different things. This can be for a fast Warp Prism to assert ourselves and be quite active on the map initially and go for a Twilight Council follow-up. This could be for a fast Bay. We get into fast Immortal production, into a Bay, into Colossus instead, which can be very strong against a bio-heavy composition. So Trap, he has a couple of different avenues he can kind of go down here, whether he wants to go into a fast Colossus production or into some kind of different setup instead. With a Prism, with a Twilight Council, with Blink, or with Charge. We shall see as our first wave of Adepts are moving out. It's going to be an Immortal first. This screams Robotics Bay. This screams Colossus. As Adepts they get across map, we do pick off 2 Marines. But we're going to be cleaned up. The Cyclone does reveal itself. And the Adepts, they're going to be shut down. Not the best trade here from a Trap. Meanwhile, the Reaper does slip into the main base. Big scout here for Clem. He sees everything. And he even gets a probe. Oh, that should not have happened. Trap slipping up a little bit here in the defense. Clem, he sees all, he knows all. Now he's moving out with his Cyclone drop. Meanwhile, now we have a second Immortal in production. Interesting. Usually we go one Immortal into the base. Second Immortal is intriguing to me, as we're not going for the bait, we're going for the Twilight Council. Okay. And we're pushing out. But the Stalkers are following. I hope that's intentional. We don't have the army back at him to defend, by the way. Cyclones have arrived across the map. What do we have? We have the bunker that's just now about to finish up. The Immortal back at home does pop out in time, and Trappy's going for the bunker, going for the Marines. There we go. The boys are being pulled, and we do get one SCV. We get a handful of Marines, and we can maybe bring down the bunker, but nah, we do defend. Clem does hold. Trap being forced back. Twilight Council's done. We're going for a charge. So it's going to be a Charge Lord Archon Immortal composition here from Trap. Interesting. Very little mobility here for Trap. Like, he has no secure way to shut down these drops. There's no Blink Stalkers. There's no Phoenixes. So this drop can actually get a lot done. It can be very active here. Meanwhile, Trap is building up towards like a death wall of an army. It looks like a strong 3-base timing. We'll see kind of how Trap wants to approach this and where he takes us. I'm most curious if Trap goes for Fast Storm. I'm really curious if we rush into Storm or if we use this just for Archons. And we're rushing into Storm! Okay, this is going to be a very strong timing here by Trap. He wants to hit with Storm as quickly as possible. Storm is on the way. As I mentioned before, this medevac is safe and sound. There's no secure way to chase it. No secure way to shut it down. Production has been spotted. We do have our 3-1-1 setup. We have a couple of tanks as well, just to be safe. Third CC's on the way. And there's that gateway explosion again. Trap, he is building up. We have 2 High Templar initially, and then we go a 3rd High Templar on the way. There's that War Prism to load up the High Templar for that push. Speaking of, Clem is the first to be active, actually. Okay, I was not expecting this. But as Clem is expanding and taking his 3rd, he is pushing out. So the armies are soon to clash. Clem, looking at his vision, he did not see the Temple Archives. He doesn't know about all this storm. The drop is spotted. We have the army on the right-hand side. Can a Trap keep up here? The Prism is moving out. We have the High Templar back at him to defend. And do we have a storm? We do! Ooh, but we snipe both High Templar. We rush through the storm. We collapse on top of the 4th base. Sorry, on top of the 3rd. The tanks are sieged. And without Zealots, I don't know if we can hold on. We need those charge lots. Big tank volleys going over the main army. Ooh, massive tank shots. We do land with the storm. And the army does race back. Ooh, as we get both tanks. Trap does hold, but that was a costly defense. Looking at the trades here, we lost 3 High Templar. Ay, ay, ay. 3 High Templar for 2 tanks. And Clem, he's rebuilding. He's rebuilding, he's reinforcing. Now, he isn't making any more tanks, so he doesn't have that kind of backbone to his army. But without storms, this is going to be a rough hold. Okay, we have 3 High Templar in the Prism. They are in the War Prism. Army slims forward. There is no shield battery. Uh-oh. No shield battery, no overcharge. First Mine Shield gets baited out. Second Mine Shield does on Burrow. Again, we're trying to hold on to those storms. We don't want to waste them. There we go. Good storm here on the bio. Mine shots, oh, not quite going to be connecting. Ooh, good cleanup here by Trap. He does hold. Across the map, Zella Runby gets cleaned up as well. Trap, he will preserve that 3rd base. Clem, meanwhile, gets his own 3rd up and running. And now we're going for a longer game. If Trap wanted to hit a timing with his storm, he's kind of lost that timing. He's stuck at home. We're stuck defending, working towards Blink. 4th base. Our upgrades as well. And we'll see if Trap can keep up. As Trap has been taking some rough losses here. We do even force... Oh, we bait out the overcharge. Ay, ay, ay. That's a little bit concerning. Overcharge is baited out. Trap trying to get his 4th base. Right now we're on even bases here. That's better for the Terran. Clem does have the better economy. Trap needs that fourth. Blink is about to finish though. That will give him a little bit more opportunity to take down some of those medevacs. Just shut down the drops. Warp It does complete in the main. We're breaking through those Marines. Can we get on top of the Ghost? Up! The Ghost is not going to be shut down. We do barely save it. The Ghost does survive. At the same time, we have a minefield in the center of the map. Oh. Oh! Oh. Stalkers are going down. Good mind shell said we don't quite get the High Templar. That's what I was concerned about. High Templar, they're so vulnerable here. We have to retreat. Clem reinforcing with everything he has. Does catch the Observer. Zealot run by on the right hand side, but we have a Widowmine in position. And here we go. Clem going for a Doom Drop towards that natural, towards the main. He's splitting up his forces. Zealot run by does distract the reinforcements of Clem. We go for the drop. Yeah, Trap out of position. Clem picks up a pylon, pulls back. Doesn't commit. Playing it safe. Trap finally gets that fourth base up and running. Still not fully saturated. We're missing gases. We have no gases here at the third. Without gases, we can't really afford double rover production. Not yet. So we can't really afford Colossus, for example. We're still stuck on Storm. Another form of splash damage would be nice, but we're not there yet. And Trap is supply blocked. Oh, that is a brutal supply block. 5 pylons on the way. Trap is vulnerable. He's down 40 supply. And we've been here before. Storm is the only thing keeping him alive here. We'll see if he can survive this as Clem is maxed out. Clem is maxed out here. We need the most perfect storms. Army is spotted. We can move that to Clem. Does pull back. There's a lot of posturing going on right now. Prism has arrived. Oh, Sniper's coming in! Ooh, a big pick off. 1 High Templar goes down. The Prism as well. A big EMP on 2 more High Templar. We're running out of storms. We do have a couple left. As we have a flanking High Templar from behind. But the army does pull back. EMP does connect as well. We still have 1 storm left. Oh, another storm from the left. The second storm a little bit lackluster. EMP does connect as well. There we go. We have 2 more Head Templar coming in. I do appreciate that we were spread out. Oh, a zoning storm. Less than ideal. EMP's once again connecting, and yeah, Clemmy's breaking through. He's breaking through this. Good spread, good split. And we can just stim and collapse on this army. Immortals are going down one after the other. Zealot Surround is helping though. We do force this back. But here come the reinforcements. Here come the ghosts. It was a good effort by Trap. Very impressive to bring it to the ace match. But unfortunately here in that ace match, it's going to go the way of the Terran. The favorite player here is going to take it. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a good effort here by Trap to come in, and he already did so well making it this far. Like, Trap was the underdog against Shin, did bring him down, and hey, even forced Clem to the ace match as well. Impressive stuff considering that Trap has only been back a month. He's been back for a very short period of time and did pose a threat here to Clem, but of course Clem was the favorite player, does take it in the end. GG, well played. Whew, GG, well played. Clem will advance on into the next round. Trap is going to be eliminated, but again, a solid run here from him, a solid performance, I should say. And it looks like we have some other updates in the bracket. We have some catching up to do.